Hello and welcome to my fourth dev blog. Within this iteration I will be making a wavelength audio visualizer. This is a more traditional audio visualizer, one that I haven't really visited yet. To make this effect I will be using the Blender workspace this time. This one turned out to be a little bit trickier, or actually quite a bit trickier than the prior visualizers, since it made me use aspects of Blender that I haven't really touched upon before, so it's a very good learning experience. So to create this effect, I'd have to create the waveform itself, and to do this I'd be doing it within the geometry nodes section within Blender. The geometry nodes are quite a new addition to Blender and an area I haven't really touched upon, so this was an area that I was quite excited to carry out and see what it was capable of. So at this stage I am creating a flat line to start with. This will act as the basis of the waveform. Here I am altering the nodes so that I have a simple line, and with this I can start to apply the waveforms. So to make the waves themselves, I'll be using the wave texture tool, and as soon as I apply that, you can see the impact of it already. I change its values so that it fits the whole screen, and so that is the center of focus as well. With the waveform itself complete, it was time to give the waveform a sort of ellipsed shape, an oval shape. Right now you see this rectangular sort of square of squiggles. I want to change that so it's almost like an opening eyelid, typical of your more traditional waveform. To do this I'll be using the color ramp tool. Again, I'm using the color ramp tool simply because it uses all the figures or the numbers within the RGB color wheel. So in this instance it's black and white, the color ramp, so every shade of black and white between black and white is a number, and that number can be used to tie your effect. So as you can see in the viewport, as I change the black to white, it changes the intensity and the sort of strength, I guess you'd say, of the visualizer itself. When at this point, I experimented more with the color ramp. By adding more nodes within the color ramp, you could start to create a sort of a staggered pattern within the effect. So you have a sort of two echoes on each side, and I quite liked that effect. It gave it a little bit more of a energetic feel when the visualizer was visualizing the audio. Once I'd finished completing the basis of the wavelength and the framework for it, I went into the shading settings and began sort of making the piece a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, really. Once I was happy with the settings that I had made for the shaders, I moved onto the compositing window, and in this section I'd be adding the VFX over the top to make the piece much more whole. And so this brings me to the end of my fourth dev blog. Again, this render can be found underneath this video, and thank you for watching.